Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Marriage, Volume 7, Book 62, number 1177. Volume 7, Book 62, number 1. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. A group of 3 men came to the houses of the wives of the Prophet asking how the Prophet worshipped Allah, and when they were informed about that, they considered their worship insufficient and said, "Where are we from the Prophet as his past and future sins have been forgiven?" Then one of them said, "I will offer the prayer throughout the night forever." The other said, "I will fast throughout the year and will not break my fast." The third said, "I will keep away from the women and will not marry forever." Allah's apostle came to them and said, "Are you the same people who said so and so? By Allah, I am more submissive to Allah and more afraid of him than you. Yet I fast and break my fast, I do sleep and I also marry women. So he who does not follow my tradition in religion is not from me, not one of my followers." Volume 7, Book 62, number 2. Narrated by Ursa. That he asked Aisha about the statement of Allah, "If you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry other women of your choice, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly with them, then only one, or the captives, that your right hands possess. That will be nearer to prevent you from doing injustice." 4.3. Aisha said, "O my nephew, this verse has been revealed in connection with an orphan girl under the guardianship of her guardian who is attracted by her wealth and beauty and intends to marry her with a mahr less than what other women of her standard deserve. So they, such guardians, have been forbidden to marry them unless they do justice to them and give them their full mahr, and they are ordered to marry other women instead of them." Volume 7, Book 62, number 3. Narrated by Alqama. While I was with Abdullah, Uthman met him at Mina and said, "O Abu Abdurrahman, I have something to say to you." So both of them went aside and Uthman said, "O Abu Abdurrahman, shall we marry you to a virgin who will make you remember your past days?" When Abdullah felt that he was not in need of that, he beckoned me to join him, saying, "O Alqama." Then I heard him saying, in reply to Uthman, "As you have said that, I tell you that, the Prophet once said to us, O young people, whoever among you is able to marry, should marry, and whoever is not able to marry, is recommended to fast, as fasting diminishes his sexual power." Volume 7, Book 62, number 4. Narrated by Abdullah. We were with the Prophet while we were young and had no wealth whatever. So Allah's apostle said, "O young people, whoever among you can marry, should marry, because it helps him lower his gas and guard his modesty, i.e. his private parts from committing illegal sexual intercourse etc. And whoever is not able to marry, should fast, as fasting diminishes his sexual power." Volume 7, Book 62, number 5. Narrated by Arta. We presented ourselves along with Ibn Abbas at the funeral procession of Maimuna at a place called Sarif. Ibn Abbas said, "This is the wife of the Prophet, so when you lift her bier, do not jerk it or shake it much, but walk smoothly, because the Prophet had 9 wives and he used to observe the night turns with 8 of them, and for one of them there was no night turn." Volume 7, Book 62, Number 6. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet I used to go round, have sexual relations with, all his wives in one night, and he had 9 wives. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 7. Narrated by Said bin Jubair. Ibn Abbas asked me, "Are you married?" I replied, "No." He said, "Marry, for the best person of this Muslim nation, i.e., Muhammad, of all other Muslims, had the largest number of wives." Volume 7, Book 62, Number 8. Narrated by Umar bin al-Khattab. The Prophet said, "The rewards of deeds are according to the intention, and everybody will get the reward for what he has intended. So whoever emigrated for Allah's and his apostles' sake, his emigration was for Allah and his apostle, and whoever emigrated for worldly benefits, or to marry a woman, then his emigration was for the thing for what he emigrated for." 1. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 9. Narrated by Ibn Masud. We used to fight in the holy battles in the company of the Prophet, and we had no wives with us. So we said, "O Allah's Apostle, shall we get castrated?" The Prophet forbade us to do so. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 10. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. Abdur-Rahman bin Auf came from Mecca to Medina, and the Prophet made a bond of brotherhood between him and Sa'd bin Rabi al-Ansari. Al-Ansari had 2 wives, so he suggested that Abdur-Rahman take half his wives and property. Abdur-Rahman replied, "May Allah bless you with your wives and property. Kindly show me the market." So, Abdur-Rahman went to the market and gained, in bargains, some dried yogurt and some butter. After a few days the Prophet saw Abdur-Rahman with some yellow stains on his clothes and asked him, "What is that, O Abdur-Rahman?" He replied, "I had married an Ansari woman." The Prophet asked, "How much mahr did you give her?" He replied, "The weight of 1 date stone of gold." The Prophet said, "Offer a banquet, even with 1 sheep." Volume 7, Book 62, Number 11. Narrated by Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. Allah's Apostle forbade Uthman bin Mazan to abstain from marrying and other pleasures, and if he had allowed him, we would have gotten ourselves castrated. 1. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 12. Narrated by Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. The Prophet prevented Uthman bin Mazan from that, not marrying, and had he allowed him, we would have got ourselves castrated. 1. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 13. Narrated by Abdullah. We used to participate in the holy battles led by Allah's Apostle, and we had nothing, no wives, with us. So we said, "Shall we get ourselves castrated?" He forbade us that and then allowed us to marry women with a temporary contract, too, and recited to us, "O you who believe, make not unlawful the good things which Allah has made lawful for you, but commit no transgression." 5.87. Volume 7, Book 62, Number 13. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. I said, "O Allah's Apostle, I am a young man and I am afraid that I may commit illegal sexual intercourse and I cannot afford to marry." He kept silent, and then repeated my question once again, but he kept silent. I said the same, for the third time, and he remained silent. Then repeated my question, for the fourth time. And only then the Prophet said, "O Abu Hurairah, the pen has dried after writing what you are going to confront. So, it does not matter whether you get yourself castrated or not." Volume 7, Book 62, Number 14. Narrated by Aisha. I said, "O Allah's Apostle, suppose you landed in a valley where there is a tree of which something has been eaten and then you found trees of which nothing has been eaten. Of which tree would you let your camel graze?" He said, "I will let my camel graze of the one of which nothing has been eaten before." The sub-narrator added, Aisha meant that Allah's Apostle had not married a virgin besides herself.